welcome to today's webinar. My name is Jestofumi Banjo. With me today is Ayodeji Ibo. He's the Managing Director of Optimus by AfriInvest. He's also the Chief Business Officer at AfriInvest West Africa. Good morning, Ayo. Please say hello to everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining.
All right, thank you very much, Ayo. Also with me is Victoria Injimaze. She's a Senior Portfolio Manager at AfriInvest. Victoria, please say hello to everyone.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for doing this. All right, so I'm sure we have several questions for our panelists, and I'm sure that there is you're seeing what's going on in the economy, and that's why you're interested in this webinar. So today we're going to be talking about how you can beat inflation using dollar-denominated investments. I know that this is really important in this season. We see the way dollar keeps skyrocketing, the rates keep skyrocketing, and then inflation rates keep increasing month on month. So we're going to allow our panelists speak to us with some slides this morning. Listen attentively. If you have questions, like I mentioned earlier, you can drop them in the chat box and they'll be attended to. All right, let's go straight to business. Over to you, Victoria.
Thank you so much, Tofumi. While I take a minute to share my screen and for you to confirm, today I think my job here is clearly cut out, and like Tofumi mentioned, we want to dissect the Nigerian economy, but I'm sure you must have heard a lot of these numbers before now, right? You must have heard it maybe while listening to news on the street. So I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for you to just understand what these numbers mean to you as an average Nigeria or as an average investor, and how to take advantage of the opportunities that we have. So I'm going to be breaking down into two. We're going to discuss the Nigerian macroeconomy, where we're going to just be examining the numbers, and we are going to be looking at some actionable strategies that we can implement. Okay, so these are the key things for Nigerian economy. Just as a person can go to the doctor to check on their health, doctor can carry out different tests on you, and when they're done, they look at the result and they can tell you your health condition, if you are fine or not. Same thing we can do with numbers. When we look at numbers for key economic indicators, we can tell the health of a country. And these are some of the key indicators that we are going to be looking at. So in no particular order, let's start with GDP. Some of us might remember the very popular formula we use in school, C plus I plus G, open bracket X minus M, all of that. You're just basically trying to say what you produce in the country, and you're looking at growth. And when we're trying to look at growth numbers, all numbers here are most recent numbers. So when you see the current speaks to the most recent numbers, and the target speaks to the budget assumptions, right? So for Q1 2024, our GDP closed at 2.98%, which is approximately 3%. And that is, higher than where we closed Q1 2023. That is, we are trying to do a year-on-year comparison. But if you're looking at quarter-on-quarter comparison, it declined, because as at Q4 2023, we are around 3.46%. And looking at the Q1 number, what this number just tells us is how we perform for Q1. And when we try to disaggregate, into oil and non-oil, we did see that the growth was majorly coming from the oil sector that did rebound, right? While we also did see non-oil sector thriving, most especially due to the sustainable expansion that we saw in the financial services. But there are some key risks to the growth that we did see in Q1. Not forgetting that if we want to work with the target that's already been stated, 3.88, and we are currently at 2.98, that means we have to grow the next 3 quarters at least by 4% to be able to meet these targets, right? So there are some underlying risks to this. There's the incident of vandalism that's still, ongoing, cases of, oil theft, There's the wide currency swing. We did see that in the first quarter of the year and even the second quarter of the year. The fluctuations and all has caused relapse in the, in the naira, and that also resulted in sluggish growth, in different factors. So while we want to acknowledge that, Nigerian economic growth has sort of remained stable, at least around 3% for the last 2 years, the country's output gap is still wide, and that is due to weak labor productivity and lower GDP per capita. Major contributing factor is what we like to call Japa syndrome. So we have more Nigerians seeking opportunities outside Nigeria, and this just translates to having shortage of highly skilled workers, and it's just increasing the risk of, more gap in terms of labor productivity and overall economic growth. So elsewhere also, we know that the tightening, monetary condition is also putting strain on businesses. And we have seen more noticeable drop in, those businesses that are very sensitive or are more sensitive to interest rate environment, talking about sectors like manufacturing, construction, real estate, and trade. And this just presents, a tough macroeconomic environment. We're also still battling currency issue. There's decline in, disposable income and layers of difficulties, for business productivity, which is even prompting some companies to, leave the country, which is all in all not a good sign for Nigeria. Now, let's speak to inflation. Inflation is one number I think I've heard almost everywhere when I go to the market, even from the strangest places. People tell me, "Auntie, price of things are different now because there is inflation." So I want to believe everybody has, in one way or the other, encountered something that made them talk about inflation. So we are not oblivious to the fact that inflation has been rising, particularly as it relates to food, transport, housing, and we now have more and more Nigerians being driven into poverty than any other economic factor has done in recent time. And this has sort of negatively impacted domestic consumption and even growth. When we're looking at poverty rate is now estimated to be around 40%, for the population, and that is about 90 million Nigerians now living below the poverty line, right? And that is not a good sign. It is not a good sign. So over the years, we still continue to face a lot of challenges as relates to inflation. Food insecurity has been one of the most pronounced ones in Nigeria. We are seeing rising input costs. We are seeing low production yield for crops, persistent insecurities, and a lot of other issues that have also come up within this period. So we're seeing inflation going up. Things are becoming much more unaffordable. Purchasing power also is remaining largely weak because of the lower real wage growth. Now, oil production here is very crucial because it's one major source of revenue for the government. So it's very important, and that is why you see many people talk about oil production. Oil production target was around 1.78 on the budget, but so far we have not been able to meet up with our target. Even during the year, you would have seen, or if you check the numbers, it has fluctuated time and again, but currently we pegged it at 1.5 million barrels per day. So that means us not meeting up with the target means we're not getting enough money from that side. So while the oil prices has remained largely in line with our projection, oil production, on the other hand, has not been able to catch up, which means that we will not be able to meet up with the revenue allocated to it if we cannot catch up with the production. Then, of course, exchange rate. Exchange rate was projected at 800 before the year, but we've seen moves by the current CBN governor, Dr. Cardoso, trying to unify the economy, boost confidence for both domestic and foreign investors, and for different reasons, which we'll also see during the course of the presentation, to try to bring more people or bring more foreign investors to the country, but it has not really panned out like we thought it would, right? So we've seen exchange rate go as high as 1,800 this year and still come down to as low as 1,100, while now we are seeing it somewhere at 1,586, and this is even using the official rate in the market. So that said, the main point here is that nobody, absolutely nobody, is spared from the current inflation trend in Nigeria. It comes with a lot of uncertainty. There's struggle to meet up with the rising price of things, and inflation on its own is even devouring the cash that we have, diminishing the wealth or the worth of the wealth that we have. We just try to put that in picture and reminisce on some of these things that we typically would have access to, and I probably have wastefully used some of them before, and now it's coming to us. These numbers are not even updated, because I'm sure most of us will be like, this is not the price I got tomatoes last time when I went to the market, or even meat. But the point for this is, you will notice that prices of things have more than doubled for most of the commodities that we use. And we try to paint a clear scenario of how your money would, what your money would have returned with and without investment, taking into note the cost for inflation, right? So assuming you had 1 million naira, July 2023, at two different scenarios. You did not invest that money at all. Let's just say you kept it in the bank. And the second scenario is that you invested at a rate of 18%. Now, I know that if you keep your money in the bank, you're going to get interest for it. But the assumption here is there are some charges that we get, some transaction charge and SMS charge and all of that. I want to take it that they net of each other, right? So nominal return is 1 million. So because you kept 1 million, you still have your 1 million in the account. But if you had invested that money at 18%, you would now have 1,180,000 naira. Now, this is nominal. We have not accounted for inflation yet. Now, when we account for inflation, that's when we talk of real returns. When we look at real return now, your 1 million naira that was not invested will now give you 745,212 naira. While the 1 million that you invested will now give you 879,350 naira. What this scenario tries to paint is not a case that you will be able to get the initial amount no matter what is happening. The point is, if you keep your money invested at all times, you are sure that the eroding effect that comes with inflation is not going to take all of your money with it. So at the end of the day, you are always going to be better off staying invested. We also try to, paint a picture, for us to just see what has happened to the Nigerian FX market. I'm looking at both official rates, parallel rates, and the reserve before it converged this year. So this chart is, I think, almost 10 years, if not more. So from 2010 till July 2024. And what you notice here is, like I did mention, there was a convergence in terms of the official rate and parallel rate sometime this year, which is the golden line and the blue line. You notice that there's that convergence, and up to now, it's still almost the same on both ends, right? But because of all of the responses that we have gotten so far and everything that's been going on, right, both in trying to bring in FX, so that's looking at capital importation number, which is quite interesting. If we look at capital importation number for Q1, it was very impressive, right? But taking a deeper dive into the numbers, like foreign investors are coming, we are happy, but where is the money going to? You'll notice that money had been going into portfolio investment, and portfolio investments are more like putting money in money market instruments. They are very short term. The ones that are not going into portfolio investment are going into loans, and loans in itself are also, short term. So that means these monies will be maturing soon. They are not long-term money. And then we still have to start thinking of how we want to retain them in our system, or how we want to pay, these investors. So that's also another hurdle for CBN to cross. Apart from that, we're also spending from our reserve. So you can see that reserve trend. So even though we have gotten some monies from World Bank and other institutions, right, you can see that we need to grow the traditional means of bringing in FX. And by traditional means, we are talking about remittances, we are talking about oil, and even capital importation, but we need it to come into foreign direct investment, where they're actually coming here to set up businesses and not leaving the country or investing in short-term instruments where they still have to take out their monies. And GDP here, just a more pictorial view, the 3%, which is 2.98% we had in Q1, how it was distributed, oil sector accounting for most part of it. But like we mentioned, there's still a lot of risk associated with it. And there's a lot that we still need to do if we want to meet up with the 3.88% target, which we don't think is possible. Our target this year, we believe, is 3%, which closely aligns with what IMF already projected at 3.1%. Now, that's out of the way. We want to get to the nitty-gritty, actionable strategies that we believe or we think can help you hedge against inflation. And here we have tried to group them into 4 stocks: short-term fixed income, long-term fixed income, and alternative. So I want us to start with looking at fixed income market, general fixed income market. So fixed income market has been quite interesting if you have been following all of what has been happening so far this year. Coming home, MPR has increased rates. MPR rate has gone up by at least 800 bips. So we are now sitting at 26.75%. Now, what that number means to you is that when you are a new investor trying to invest in the market, you're going to be getting better rate for your money, right? So when MPR rate now is at 26.75, it will also reflect in the instruments in the market. So treasury bills instruments, even commercial paper, private companies that are coming to raise money, they also have to be very competitive. Then also the bonds market. So you see everybody also trying to readjust to reflect all of that increase, which means it's a good time, if you are not yet invested in the fixed income market, to bring your money and invest in the market. And there are different ways you can go about it, starting with the short-term fixed income instrument that is using Optiflex. The beautiful thing about the platform, Optimus platform, is that it is very rate reflective. So if you have been using the platform over time, you will notice that more recently, we sent out notifications to state that we have revised our rate and our rates are higher. So Optiflex is now around 13%. You can earn up to 13% per annum, and that is something that you can just take out your money at any time, bring it back in. So it's not like you're locking it for a long period of time. If you're looking at the long-term fixed income instrument, that's where I want to put things like mutual funds. I want to put Optilog and then bonds. Right? For Optiflex, there's the Naira part, which is 13%, and then there's the dollar part, which gives about 4%, which is also very, very impressive. For the long term, looking at mutual funds have also been very reflective of the high rate that we currently have in the market. Plutus fund, if you are invested in Plutus, I'm sure you got your dividend notice to say that dividends have been paid, and even the rates are very reflective, currently above 17%. Same with the NIDF fund, which are bond fund. Bonds have also been enjoying from the high yield because whatever is happening in the market, we are all the markets are sort of intertwined, so nothing is happening outside a particular market. Then ADF, taking advantage of what the currency is doing, and you want to still invest in a mutual fund, you want a professional to manage your money for you, and you have dollars, then ADF is the fund for you, right? Also pay dividend. Optilog is also a very good choice. Optilog Naira and Optilog Dollar. Optilog Naira now gives as high as 20% per annum. Optilog Dollar as high as 7%, very reflective of everything happening in the market. So you are sure that here we have you in mind when, when we put out product and, we try to stay as competitive as possible. And we think that investing in the fixed income market is good, especially if you are one of those investors that you don't want anything to happen to your money. No, what I'm bringing is what I want to get back. Or Optilog or Optiflex would be a case of, I just want to know the exact rate I am going to get for my money, which is not something you can get with mutual funds, right? Mutual funds, you are not sure that this is the exact rate you're going to get when it's time to take out your money. But for Optilog and Optiflex, you are certain that this is the rate and you're putting your money and you are sure. So if you're risk averse, you don't want to take a lot of risk, then you should be looking at fixed income market. And like I mentioned, the market currently is providing a lot of opportunities for people that are not yet invested to begin to take positions, right? So we also have alternatives, and while we know that there are a lot of regulatory issues ongoing, we are also trying to see if we can work out something, over time to have on the platform. There are different ways that you can actually tap into the alternative market, right? You can even use, ETFs to take advantage of that. And ETFs are almost like mutual funds. The only difference are that they trade on an exchange. So the way you can buy shares is the same way you can buy, ETFs. And we have some ETFs that are connected to most of these alternatives, like, currency, cryptocurrencies, commodities, and all. But like I mentioned, there's some regulatory issues, but we'll make sure that we check all of that box before, we communicate that to you. Now, stocks. Some people will say I saved the best for the last, but the stock market is a market I want to believe everybody should have an interest in, because it provides a lot of opportunity for you to diversify, right? Over the next slide, we're going to look at how to allocate, because I am one that will always say, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Don't say only stocks or just fixed income. Try to do different things with your money, or make sure that your money is diversified, make sure your money is playing in different markets. But the stock market presents an investment opportunity or an option that I think a lot of people should consider. For the local stock markets, we know over time how people mention that it outpaces inflation from historic numbers. Even the developed market stocks, right? It presents opportunity to get better return. And they not only offer the potential for currency appreciation because you are investing in dollars, but you also appreciate from the benefit that comes with price appreciation. And of course, some of these stocks do pay dividends. So while it offers you that opportunity to own or to be a part of a company, you also have the opportunity to hedge against inflation, and also allows you to actively participate in the economic growth of businesses while still helping you to stay diversified. And there's a very, very interesting concept that I would want people to take with them. If you have not been listening before now, I think you should start listening. And that is the concept of dollar cost averaging. And it is not as let's say tedious as some people make it sound. Some people make it look like it's one big deal, but it is not. The idea of dollar cost averaging is a simple yet effective investment strategy that helps you reduce the risk that is associated with market volatility. So it simply means that you are investing a fixed amount of money at regular interval, regardless of the asset price. So for example, you might invest $10 every month into a stock. And this approach just helps you buy more shares when prices are low, and you buy fewer shares, when prices are high, and average out your purchasing price over time. It helps you to reduce the risk of investing that large amount of money at the wrong time. Maybe you're not sure, is this the right time for me to be entering the market? Should I be actually, doing this now? You're not sure. It's a very good opportunity to do that. It can help you stay consistent in investing, yes, and can keep you disciplined. So Optimus also provides the opportunity where you don't have to have the entire money to buy one share. this is where the dollar cost averaging comes in. You don't have to buy one share. So with as little as $1, you can actually start buying shares on Optimus, and I'm sure we're going to show it when we are showing you the demo session. And I think you should take advantage of even the concept of dollar cost averaging. It does help you promote consistent investing, also reduce the whole emotional decision making. My friend said he bought Apple. Me, I want to buy Apple. You don't know what's happening to Apple. You don't know where the prices are going. You don't know anything about the company. All you know is your friend bought Apple and you want to buy Apple, right? So making those kind of emotional decisions and just buying things where you're not sure of the time, dollar cost averaging can help you keep all of that in check while helping you play an integral part in the long-term, investment plan or your long-term investment plan. And before I move to the next slide, there's something important, or let's say disclaimer I would like to put, which is that if you do not really understand the process or the value proposition of a product, I don't think you should be investing in it. If you don't understand what it means, if you're speaking to someone and the person is talking and you say, oh, break it down, the person is breaking down, you still don't understand the breakdown. Maybe you have also done your research, you don't understand. And maybe it is not for you. Invest in what you know. Invest in what you at least understand, especially understanding its workings. Now, that said, we are going to be looking at a model asset allocation for investment. So here, we put more on the fixed income markets, like you note. So we have long-term and short-term, and together it makes up 60%. And that is largely because of the interest rate environment. We don't see this interest rate environment staying high forever, right? So we believe it's an opportunity for people to take advantage of. So as much as you can, take advantage of these opportunities, especially in the fixed income market. 10% allocated to alternative, high risk, high reward. That is alternative for you. So hence why we put 10% there. Stock market also has high risk compared to the fixed income market. So we are also putting 40% there because we believe that it also presents opportunities for you to take advantage of. And thankfully, on the platform with as low as $1, you can actually get started with your US stock, trading or your US stock investing. Fixed income, long-term fixed income, take advantage of the mutual funds, take advantage of the bond market, take advantage of Optilock. You should be taking advantage of it if you are not already doing that. For short term, it's more or less like a high savings account. That's for the short term one, right? So I think you should take advantage of it. Putting your money or just keeping your money just lying around. I've shown you a scenario that clearly states that your money should not be lying idle. So please start making your money work for you. And that said, introducing you to Optimus by AfroInvest, where we have almost everything you are looking for. The high yield and periodic savings. We have the US stock platform where you can, buy stocks, you can sell stocks seamlessly, and you can also invest in the mutual funds. At this point, I think I will be handing over to Ayo for him to just show us how it works, and we'll take questions later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Victoria, for that wonderful presentation. So you've made my work very easy. And so the essence of this session is just to now show you how you take advantage of these opportunities on the Optimus by AfroInvest platform. So I will be using the web for the demo, and also works. You navigate it similar way even on the app. So so the first thing, because the focus here is some of the most of our dollar investments. So funding your wallet. So we've had a lot of questions. How do I fund my wallet? Can I bring in dollars? How do I transfer dollars to my account? So we have options that you can use. The first one is that you can be able to fund directly into the dollar account. So we have our DOM accounts, which we have GT Bank, Zenith, and UBA, where you can fund directly bank to bank, or you do bank to other from your other banks to to those banks. Yeah, so that is one. When you fund, always also remember to upload the evidence of payment to ensure so that you initiate it on the platform so that it can be approved and you can get your funds in your wallet. So I'm currently displaying the wallet. So for you to fund your dollar account, you need to click on US stocks, on the US wallet. So you click on fund, and you input the amount. So when you need to review this amount, then you can choose the banks which I've mentioned earlier: United Bank of Africa, Zenith Bank, and GTB. You can also find the details that are required. So you would see it has to come in your name. So you would find the details that you need to input for the transfer into the account. And once that is done, you also need to upload the evidence of payment on the platform. And once you do that, once we confirm the payment is from you, and we see the evidence of transfer, it will also be approved within 24 to 48 hours. Secondly, we've also partnered with licensed bureau de change, that's BDCs, that helps facilitate some of our dollar transactions. So which means that you may not need to go out to source for dollars. So you can transfer Naira into your Naira wallet using whether your dedicated virtual account or using your card to make payment. So once you have that in your wallet, you come to swap. So we call it changing your Naira to dollar. So you always see the exchange rate. The buy rate is at the rate which you convert Naira to dollar, and the sell rate is at the rate at which you convert your dollar to Naira. It's also good to note that the valuation that we use on the platform is always the sell rate, which means that which is the rate at which, if you want to take out your funds, that is the value that you get. The value you can see is what you would get. Yeah, so so once you're able to do that, you can swap. You put in your, if I'm going to just test it now, if I'm going to swap, so just swap from Naira to dollars. So you would see, so within seconds, your dollar wallet would have been credited, means that you now have dollars. And this fund, you can always take it in dollars. If you know except if the value of your investment, because of transfer charges, for those that are into dollar transactions, you will know it's expensive to move dollars in Nigeria. So it's only for Naira we bear all the cost on your behalf. So we don't charge customers for Naira transaction, but for dollars, at the point of withdrawal, you would be required to pay the dollar charges. So if the value of your investment is not significant, what we recommend most times is you can also swap back to Naira and take the money to your Naira account. So now I've funded my Naira and my dollar account, which means it's available for investments. And if I now want to save in dollars, you have your OptiFlex account, which you have the OptiFlex, which is the Naira. You have the OptiLock Naira, and the OptiLock Naira you can enjoy as high as 20%. Means you lock in your fund. You know, like Victoria said earlier, we don't expect the interest rate to continue to remain this high. So when you are locked in, it is what you lock that you get. Even if rates decline tomorrow, if you're already locked in at a particular rate, it will not affect you. It's only the new investment that you bring in that it would affect compared to OptiFlex. But the way you see OptiFlex is like high yield savings account. This morning, I have access to it anytime. If I've been, when you look at it, if you invest in CPs, commercial papers, treasury bills, for instance, yes, you would enjoy high interest rate, but you don't have access to the money immediately. So this helps you, offers that solution that you have access to withdraw your money anytime you need it and still enjoy interest rate rather than leaving it in your bank account. The OptiFlex dollar, which is really also very important, we think that it's good to hedge against the naira. So there are two returns that you enjoy. So beyond the interest that is being paid in dollars, you also enjoy if there's any depreciation of the naira. It means that you're also gaining. So you would imagine for those that started saving in dollars on our platform in January at a rate of like almost 1,000. So you can see the gain, even if they are going to swap back, they are swapping back at almost 1,600. So you see on every dollar, you're already gaining 600 naira. So these are the ways you can preserve your wealth. You can also preserve your investment. And the rate here as high as 4%, and the OptiLock dollar you can earn as high as 7% when you lock in your dollar for a particular period. Then I would also like to emphasize one thing that makes it very interesting is the ability to create your plans. I know currently the OptiLock you can't top up, but it's also an upgrade that we're working on that you'll be able to top up your OptiLock. But for OptiFlex, you can always create your plan. School fees is coming September. You can begin to top up and begin to save towards that particular pay. And you distribute, instead of having 10 million in your bank account, you can distribute the funds, 2 million, 5 million, 3 million into different things. You see the accounts I'm using, rent. So you see different things that people can save towards. So that helps you to even plan yourself. And that is really very important. So this is how to navigate. So if you are going to save in dollars, so you create the plan, you write. So if I'm calling these savings, maybe it's retirement savings, I can always create that plan. And okay, because this already exists, so I can always create that plan and I can select whatever amount I think I want to save. So once you do that, and it will debit the amount. Remember, I converted a certain amount into my wallet. So it debits that amount from my wallet and I'm able to create the plan and I begin to earn that interest. And also, that now takes me to the dollar mutual fund. So we also have mutual funds on the platform. So if you want to invest in mutual fund and enjoy the high interest rates, so we have the Naira Mutual Funds, which is you have the AfroInvest Equity Fund, the AfroInvest Bluetooth Fund, and the NIDF. Then you can also go, if you want to invest in dollar mutual funds, you can also invest in dollar mutual fund, invest in it, and you see the prices, you see the performance, and you can invest whatever amount. You would see that we have said it takes between, for the Naira, it takes between 24 to 48 hours to have value for your investments. That's for mutual funds. And also that's working days, or working hours. That's what we use. So when there are public holidays, it's not counted because of the way the investment works. Also for dollar, so it takes between 3 to 5 working days. And sometimes you would see it can even be a day, but depending on the settlements from the bank angle, that's what determines how we also get those funds to reflect in your account. So that is mutual funds. Well, then lastly, it's now coming to the US stocks, which like Victoria said, a lot of us would really be interested in it. It's also, we know how the US market works. There are over 8,000 stocks that are listed on different exchanges, and we're able to provide a lot of those opportunities. So if you want to invest in stocks, the first thing after you have signed up, it's good to note that you have to be on the tier 2 level. You have to be on the tier 2 account level to trade US stocks because of regulations, some of the documents that will be required. And once you have properly set up your account for US stocks, then you need to fund your wallet. So you would see, to fund your wallet, you need to first of all fund your dollar wallet. let me go back. So if you come here to your wallet, you would observe that there are 3 wallets that you have. You have the Naira wallet, and you have the USD wallet that you can use for other various investments, and you have your trading wallet. This trading wallet is for the US stocks. So you also see your account number here. So if you want to fund your trading wallet, so either fund it from where I came from, I was navigating from before, or you fund it. Yeah, so if I want to fund it, I can see the balance I have in my account. So assume I want to move that amount from that account and fund my trading wallet. So I make that transfer. So that money moves immediately and reflects in my trading wallet. So you can see that the money has moved from my US account, and it has moved to my trading. It has moved to my trading account. Yeah. So when I go back to my trading account, I can see the amounts that I need to, like, I want to invest. So if I want to buy any stock, for you to buy any stock, and you search for the stock. So you say you are trying to get Apple shares, for instance. You just search for Apple, and when you click on Apple shares, then you put the amount. So what we have done to make it accessible to everyone, like we would say, we are democratizing investments, making it accessible to everyone. So you can buy as low as $1. So that means there's no barrier to investing. So if you want to set a target of $1 every month, like we mentioned, dollar cost averaging, you want to build your portfolio over time. Is it $5 you want to be setting aside for investment every month? So you are able to do that. Some of the upcoming features that we're going to work on is like the way you do auto savings. You also be able to set and do auto invest. These are some of the things so that will make it easier for you to invest. So once you put in the amount you want to invest, and you'll be able to confirm that amount. So it's also important to know that you can place trade outside the US trading hours. So for the US stock market, trades between 2:30 p.m. Nigerian time and 9 p.m. Nigerian time. But outside those hours, you can place your trade at markets. Outside those hours, you can always place your trade. And once market opens, it will match the trade. You receive the notification, both push notification and email notification that your trade has been done. So here, the market hasn't opened. So it's just going to queue. It's just going to queue. So I can see it's still pending here. But assuming market has opened, you'd have seen if that have been matched, and you'd have seen that it has been executed. So you're also able to see news that aligns with some of the stock that you're trying to look at, that can also guide your decision. The same thing if you also want to sell. And if you want to use the limit order, so we are still also trying to fine-tune that limit order, but you can only use it when you are buying a whole unit. So it doesn't apply to fractional. So if I want to buy 0.2%, which is, let's say I want to buy $5 worth of Apple shares, I can't set a price. You can't set a price. But if you want to buy 2 units of Apple shares, you can set the price. Maybe the day Apple shares gets to $210, you set it there, put the number of days that the trade should still, the mandate should be available on the system. Then you can just go and do whatever you want to do. So these are stock. We know very soon we'll also be sharing our recommendations around the US stocks to guide you in also your investments. But beyond that, we also have ETFs. So if there are ETFs that we have on the system, the Vanguard 500 that captures the top 500 companies in the US. You have the IWM that captures the top 2,000 mid-caps companies in the US. So rather than think through which one should I invest, you can also invest in ETFs that captures these different sectors. So I think once you are able to do that, you also be able to benefit from the investment. When they pay dividend, you get the dividend based on the proportion of what you are invested. So if Apple pays $1 per share, and you have invested you have 0.2% of one Apple share, you will get 0.2%. It will be credited to your wallet. You receive notification that is be credited to your wallet because you are actually buying the share. You are a shareholder. You can vote. They'll send you you will see, you will begin to receive notification when they have AGMs, annual general meetings. So you can also participate when they have ideas. So that's what we have brought for you today to also provide more understanding. So we would now go straight to questions if we have not touched some of the areas that we think we should also discuss about. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Ayo. I believe that was very clear. All right, so there are some questions that we have on the chat, and we'll be taking them one after the other. The first question says, hello, would you like to cover Eurobonds? So the person is asking, because Eurobonds has a yield of 7 to 10% as at today versus Naira-denominated instruments giving over 20%. So the person is asking, you know, based on this rate, you know, just a little brief explanation on Eurobonds. I don't know if Victoria, I would like to take that.
Okay, thank you very much. As much as the question is not clear, I would want to rephrase. So please, if the person is still on the call, I would want you to just confirm if this is exactly what you mean by your question. So you're trying to compare dollar investments with Naira investments. If that is it, let me know. Because there is nowhere on the Optimus platform where we clearly outlined Eurobond with its rates. So that's why I want to believe you are trying to compare dollar and Naira. And if that is the case, the interest rates, of course, would not be the same because first of all, we're even talking about two different currencies and the drivers for the rates are completely different. So the current interest rate in Nigeria, the major driver, like we did mention myself and Ayo during the course of the presentation, is because of the environment, the interest rate environment. So the monetary policy rate currently is at 26.75, and every other instrument or every other thing in the market has to also be reflective. So treasury bills, commercial papers, bonds have to also be reflective of the rate. In the US, the rate is currently sitting somewhere around 3%, which is very far from, you know, our current rate. So when I mean rate, I'm talking of the inflation rate, talking about their current rates, which we expect them to cut sometime in the year, right, is very low from where we have it in Nigeria. So you cannot compare both of them. It's like comparing apple and oranges. They are completely different. Hence why you see the rates also stated very differently. So if you're talking about taking advantage of the dollar investments that we have on Optimus, then yes, the Optilock dollar is currently giving as high as 7% per annum. Just like Ayo has also mentioned, why the OptiFlex gives as high as 4% per annum. So if you're trying to take advantage of that, then you do. If you want to do mutual funds, we currently have ADF. ADF has given about 8% for the past 2 years. That's the annual return. It's also a very good choice. If you're also trying to grow your dollar investment, you should also be looking at that. That's if you're looking at the fixed income side of things. You can also check out ETFs on the platform to also take advantage of it. So I hope I've answered the question. If I have not, please, you can just try to rephrase it or put it back, and I promise to attempt to answer it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Victoria. All right, Ayo, you want to do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think she has captured
Okay.
it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. The next question is about the Optimus app and the Afro Investor app. I think the person is asking, is it necessary to have an Optimus app or already have an Afro Investor app? Ayo, I don't know, or Nico.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so yes, currently there are two separate apps, but both are owned by Afro Invest. On the Afro Investor app, provides you the access to trade Nigerian stocks and access to treasury bills and commercial paper. And on the Optimus app, it gives you the access to trade US stocks, savings products, and mutual funds. As we progress, the long-term goal, medium to long-term goal, is to have one app. So you will not be faced with the stress of having to sign up on two apps. But for now, or if you want to enjoy the benefits of the products on Optimus by AfroInvest, you need to sign up. If you also want to enjoy the benefits of the AfroInvestor app, you need to sign up for now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. The next question is regards to BVN. I think about 2 or 3 people have the same questions with regards to the fact that asking if they can invest whether in diaspora, Ghana and so on, without a BVN or NIN.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. So for now, for the platform, you need a BVN to be able to become registered as a customer, because that's our unique identifier. And also this aligns with regulations for now. So if you don't have a BVN, you won't be able to open an account either on AfroInvestor 2.0 or on the Optimus by AfroInvest app.
All right, thank you very much. Someone is asking this question. I think it was already answered during the presentation, but in case the person did not get it, I don't know if you can emphasize. Can I transfer back to my DOM account if I don't want my phone changed to Naira?
Yes, definitely you can do that. We would credit you in dollars.
Yes. So then I think a follow-up question to that would be, someone asked, how much is the charge on dollar withdrawal?
Yeah, I think currently is around $50. Yeah, so but we are also trying to engage the banks to get a concession to bring that down. So I think around $30.
All right, thank you very much. I hope that's clear to the person that asked. Then someone asked the interesting question: how do I know you'll be in the market in the next 30 years?
Okay, I think that's very interesting because AfroInvest is already 30 and we've been in existence, will be 30 this year. So for us to be in existence for the past 30 years, it means we have been able to weather the storm. It's a group of companies. We are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Some of the entities are regulated by the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So, and you also look at in terms of the experience, the management, people managing the funds. So AfroInvest would be here even in beyond the next 30 years because of how we have been able to understand and weather the storm. Yeah, and just to add that we're in 5 different locations. Currently, our Lagos office is at Ikoyi, 27 Gerard Ikoyi. For those that may want to visit there, then we also have a branch in Abuja. Abuja, we also have in Kano, and we have in Onitsha as well as Port Harcourt. So I'm sure that the addresses of those places will be pasted because I've been seeing questions around that. So I just want to add that.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so a lot of questions I can see here are mostly general knowledge questions on Optimus, in relation to how they can fund on Optiflex and so on. Okay, so I believe by the end of the session, I'll be able to provide a knowledge site where you can access so that we can answer those questions at once and not take so much of our time. Someone is asking if we have a physical location in Lagos. Someone also asked if we have a branch in Kaduna. Don't know if we can
So the closest branch there is either you go to Abuja or you go to the Kano office. Yeah, so but where most things you can also be can also be done online. Sure, you can send an email to support@optimus.ng, and also the phone lines will also be provided for us. And just to touch on the funding, if just to reemphasize that, if people are still asking, that was one of the reasons why we tried to do a demo. You can also watch the video of this to understand how you want to fund your wallet. So can fund in dollars directly into the DOM account. And also, you can also fund your Naira wallet and convert the money from Naira to dollar for you to participate in the dollar transactions or dollar investment rather.
Okay. Someone is asking a question around dollar mutual funds and ETFs. Generally around ROI on dollar mutual funds, then ETFs, whether they are specific, there's a specific monthly or annual ROI that they can receive on ETFs, and also the difference between dollar mutual funds and ETFs. I think basically around dollar mutual funds and ETFs.
Victoria? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so for our dollar mutual fund, I did mention during the course of my presentation that for the past 2-3 years now, we've been giving an average of 8% in terms of our annual return. And for the person asking for, ETFs and mutual funds, probably trying to find out the difference and how they are similar. Well, both of them are similar in the sense that they are both investment vehicles that pull, monies from many investors to buy a diversified portfolio of stocks or bonds or other securities, but there are some key differences. So ETFs are not glorified, they are not glorified mutual funds. First difference is trading. So ETFs trade on an exchange, mutual funds don't. So that's why you can go on Optimus, just like you can buy shares, you can go there and then you can trade your ETFs. But mutual funds are not done like that. You have to wait the end of trading day and then buy. So it's very different when it comes to its trading. Apart from that, also minimum investment is also another very key difference between both of them. For mutual funds, for example, using ADF, minimum investment with ADF is $1,000. But for ETFs, we can get some ETFs as low as $40, depending on the kind of ETFs you want to buy. So there's no sort of minimum investment other than the price of one share. So I think those are some very key differences. You can also put in management style, because most mutual funds can either be actively or passively managed, right? ETFs are largely passively managed. So it's just tracking an index, and that's pretty much it. So there are certain differences from both ends, but there are also a lot of similarities. So just put that in mind. They are not the same, but they all work towards meeting, the same end, and they all pull investors' fund together. So I hope I've been able to answer that question. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, if I would just add on the minimum. So part of what Optimus by AfriInvest has also done is that you are able to buy at a lower entry amount than if you are going to invest directly into the fund. So you can buy as low as $10 into the AfriInvest dollar fund.
All right. Thank you very much, Ayo. Okay, so like as rightly stated, most of the other questions are around knowledge, questions that can be answered on the knowledge base. So I think we'll just round up here so that we don't take too much of our time. I don't know if there are any other comments or any other questions. You can quickly drop any other questions you have in 1 minute. Let's see if you can attend to that. If not, we would be closing now.
Okay. So I think maybe just 1 or 2 questions that maybe just
Okay.
that we had, like someone asking if we can talk to an investment advisor. Yeah, so you can come to our SCAR office, or you can also book appointments online through using the support line that you would like to discuss with an investment advisor, so we can guide you through. That will also help us understand your investment objective and also be able to guide you through the various forms of investments. I can also see questions around people that want to invest in treasury bills, commercial paper. You can take advantage of this on the AfriInvestor 2.0. So you download the AfriInvestor 2.0 app. and you can also begin to invest in commercial paper. Yeah, so also those also speaking to the public offer. So you can also when you either if you are investing through the NGX link, what you just have to do is just select AfroInvest Securities Limited. Your shares, when is allotted, be credited to AfroInvest Securities Limited. And if you also desire to just invest directly from AfroInvest, then either you send an email to connect@afroinvest.com. Even if you send it to support, if that's what you can call, they will always direct you to the right channel. Yes, so sorry, we just want to make sure.
There's also a lot of questions on advice on stocks to trade, what to buy and what to sell. I know you mentioned something on that earlier, so maybe you can reiterate so that.
Yeah, so well, for now, what we would just advise is that buy stocks that you understand what they are doing. So you will see when we mention Apple, for instance, over the years, most of us use iPhone. We know what they do. When you mention Microsoft, you understand what they do. It's almost a monopoly around Microsoft Excel. People pay subscriptions on a monthly or on a yearly basis. Google, for instance, there are those stocks that is called Magnificent Seven. This is not a direct recommendation, but these are some of the stocks that over time, if you read more about them, that will deliver. NVIDIA, you look at Tesla, these are the stocks that you can begin to build wealth over time, and they consistently also pay dividend. But if you don't want to bother yourself with which of these stocks should I buy, there are ETFs that captures the entire market. You have Vanguard 500 that captures the top 500 companies. There's the QQQ that captures also the top cap companies. There's the one that captures the IT. You want to invest in, benefit from the AI buzz that is going on. So you also have that. But as we progress, that's why for AfroInvest, we have AfroInvest Research and Consulting, where they would also be helping us and be releasing recommended stocks, as well as, I would say, suggested stocks, as well as information about some of these stocks, so you can begin to take advantage of them.
All right, thank you very much. I can see some people asking that their questions be answered. Okay, there's one in relation to AEF. The person said he invested 30,000 naira and now the value of his AEF is 28,000 naira. And he wants to know when he's going to get ROI on his investments.
Okay, thanks. So I think if you hear Victoria clearly, that before you invest in something, try and understand what's the dynamics of that investment. So AEF, which is AfroInvest Equity Fund, invest in stocks. And if you understand the underlying assets, stocks move up and down. For instance, last year, this same fund returned 54%. Earlier this year, it has returned, the first 2 months returned about 40%, because they are managed by professional, experienced portfolio managers. But currently, the stock market is down. So if we come in when market is high, and when those stocks come down, it also affects your portfolio. But what you should do is that it is when it is down that you also begin, when we're talking about averaging down, you should be buying more. If stocks, equity mutual fund is the type of investment that you want to build over a long time, this is the time to begin to invest now, because these same stocks that looks down today, within the next few months, they would also be up. So you would be the one that would benefit. So it's always good, set something aside. Don't buy one off. Stocks is not short term. It's not where you put your rent that you want to pay in the next 3 months or 4 months, expecting that it will double. Sometimes it happens, but sometimes you may not have the rent again, and you know the implications. So you need to understand the different underlying assets of some of the investments. There's the fixed income mutual fund. That one, you know, your capital is secured. So even if you may not be able to determine what the interest would be, Plutus is around 17%. Quarterly dividend is being paid, for the dollar fund, I think biannually interest is paid, or at most once a year. AEF last year paid dividend, which was paid earlier this year. So it's good to understand, read some of the features of some of those mutual funds before you also invest in them. We'll put it there. You'll see whether it's medium risk, whether it's high risk, so that we are also just giving you information to help you make decisions. So I think that clarifies that. And maybe for those that you can repost your questions if we have missed it, because there are a lot of chats.
Yes.
So you can easily just repost now that we are focused on reading the questions.
Yes. Then I can see a lot of questions are also surrounding issues while trying to use the Optimus app. Either you're trying to, get their BVN verified, or issues like that. You can you can send a mail to support@optimus.ng if you have any issue using the Optimus app. They would reach out to you and sort whatever issue you are having, if that is the issue. Someone is asking, do you have dollars fixed deposits?
Yes, which is exactly the OptiFlex or the OptiLock. So the OptiLock is customized fixed deposit. Bring in the money, lock it in for the period at a maximum of 2 years. And once you lock in that rate, you are sure that that's what you get throughout that period. And if you don't know when you would need it, or you may need it to not long, you can also invest that money, fix it in OptiFlex, and also enjoy the interest rate, and you can take it out either in dollars or decide to take it in naira.
All right, thank you. Please, you can emphasize any other questions we've not taken. Someone is asking, after investing in AEF, when can I access ROI, and when is the advised duration for AEF investments?
No, for AEF, it's like stocks. There are no duration. It's when you think you want to exit or take out your money, you are investing for return. So either you are buying more, or if it's an investment, you are just watching it grow. So you would see on the Optimus app, some people have elected to reinvest their dividend. So upon when we pay the dividend, which is the compounding effect, they use it to buy additional units rather than paying it out. So if they are doing that, it means you are growing your investment faster. And for those that have not elected for that, it's credited to your wallet. So there's no, when you want to, how do you benefit from, I bought a year at 30,000, it's grown to 35. You can sell a fraction of that unit and take out 5,000, which is your gain if you want to benefit. You want to benefit from that. Yeah.
All right.
So
okay, there are some questions in the Q&A that we've not yet looked at, but just looking through any other questions in the chats that we've not answered in the Q&A. Okay, I think some of them are already being
let me
answered.
just also, I've seen people are asking, so we also accept cash dollars. So let's assume you have cash dollars. You can walk into any of those 3 banks and pay it into the bank. It will be, and you also use that receipt, write your name on the receipt and upload it on the platform. And once we confirm the funds at our position, the money will be credited into your accounts.
All right, thank you very much. We apologize for taking for exceeding our time. We know that we're just trying to take as many questions as possible. So also I can see some questions on how can you leverage percentage? I don't think this question is clear. can you share the leverage percentage we can use to invest in the US market?
No, I think Victoria also hinted on that. So based on your risk appetite, we have suggested, okay, you can do 40% depending on your risk appetite. Some people, if you know you don't want too much exposure to stocks to things that is volatile, you can do 10%, you can do 20%. So you are the one to decide. But and that's like one of our focus at AfroInvest. So we're trying to create a platform where you can select different asset classes. So as you progress, you decide you want 40% of your investment in fixed income, you have 20% in mutual fund, you want to put in Nigerian stocks, in US stocks, and you would be able to have all the different forms of investment on one platform.
Okay. All right. I feel like if we try to answer every question, we might probably take a long time here. If your question has not been answered, we apologize, but that's why we intend you can send a mail to support@optimus.ng. Also, we have a physical office in Lagos. If you're in Lagos, we have a physical office in Abuja. You can just pop into one of our offices. You can Google AfroInvest West Africa Limited if you don't remember the address, but the address is 27 Gerald Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. So you can pop into our office. Also, we ask that you can send a mail if you need to speak to a financial advisor. You can send a mail to us as well, or come visit us at our office if you think you need to speak to a financial advisor in relation to your but for a last question, because I think so that we can leave, someone is asking about the security of our firm. What is the security of your firm in regards to customer funds? How secure is our fund, especially for those who want to do dollar mutual fund as a retirement plan? I think that's the last question we'll be taking. We apologize.
Yeah, so thanks. And I think it's also very important. The first thing that you need to note is that who are those behind Optimus by AfroInvest? It is AfroInvest that owns it fully. And this is a company that has operated within regulations for the last 30 years. It has seen the ups and downs, and it has continued to remain in existence. So in terms of the security of your funds, these funds are managed. We invest through AfroInvest Asset Management, and these funds are managed by professionals. So in terms of the security of your funds, there's no issue on mismanagement of your funds or investing in things that would expose you, because over the years, we have been managing funds for HNIs, we've been managing funds for corporates, and we still manage funds for those people. So it's that experience that we are bringing to court to also now manage the funds that we're getting from this platform. So the licenses that we currently have, Securities and Exchange Commission, we have, I think, 2 or 3 of our sister companies that are licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Also, by the Nigerian Stock Exchange, we have a broker-dealer license by one of our sister companies. So when you look at it as a company, a holding company, these are the same. The experience that is being used to run AfroInvest as a company is also that same experience that is currently being used to run Optimus by AfroInvest.
All right, thank you. But even for AfroInvest, I'm sure I'm just asking as a follow-up question for somebody that is thinking, even for AfroInvest, how do I know you are going to still be in existence for the next 30 years? How am I sure my funds are secure, even with AfroInvest?
Yes, so that's the same thing even with AfroInvest. So we have custodians that also keeps these funds. So when you transfer funds to asset management, the funds goes into the custodian accounts that warehouses the fund, which is also a form of security for the investment. So we are well regulated, we are properly audited, we are the company in AfroInvest is rated, the asset management company is rated by Augusto, which is one of the leading rating agency. Also, GCR is also one of the leading rating agency. And one major thing that we also try to invest more into is security of the platform. The platform is secured, is certified. We carry out our BAPT on a periodic basis, and we submit reports. If I'm also going to speak on data protection, so we have also with NDPR, we are also registered with them. So we ensure, because we have run successfully in the past years based on regulation. So now setting up this platform, we are not going to mix up the standard and the integrity that has kept us to this time. So we ensure that even the platform, in terms of security of the platform, security of the funds, we don't joke with that. We have professionals that manage that. These are people that have international experience that helps manage the platform and ensure that it is secured. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We're so grateful, Victoria, and Ayo, for taking our time to take us through this presentation. People keep asking if they're going to, how can they get the recorded video? This will be sent to your mail. The slides and the recording of this video will be sent to your mail. So you can be assured that you can go through this once again. If there's anything you missed, there might be some questions that you're asking again that have actually already been answered before you joined. So you would be able to have access to it and watch it again at your free time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We're so grateful that you took out time to join us on this webinar. Also, we have a curated knowledge base to answer any questions you have. Just visit kb.optimus.ng for any Optimus related question, kb.optimus.ng. We also have a Telegram group. If you go to the Optimus website, www.optimus.ng, you can see the link to the Telegram community. So we have a Telegram community where we share useful investment tips and learn from each other. You can join that community if you have other questions that you want people to answer. Also, like I already mentioned, the slides will be available, will be sent to your mail. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Ayo. Thank you, Victoria, for the amazing presentations. See you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Till next time.
Thank you.